Music has a spiritual connection to the listener, because your favorite song, even when you are not singing it, you are playing it in your head. You know, what do we want to feed our children? You know, but because dangerous people with money are bringing the money to the music industry, you know, and people don't have enough fortitude to say no to the cash. You know, so here we are in the dilemma that we are faced with.
Talking about the darkness in the music industry.
Yeah, so let us talk about the darkness in the music industry. This is another day to remind Christians, to remind believers, and to tell them the reason why they are not supposed to consume worldly sound. Now, from Seun Kuti's statement, Seun Kuti made us to understand that music is spiritual. You see that thing you are calling entertainment. You see that sound you are calling vibe. It belongs to the system. He's saying it has a spiritual connection with your mind. So it is beyond physical. You see that thing you listen to is spiritual. You don't know. It opens you to the spiritual realm, to the spirit realm. As harmful as you think this sounds, he said it's spiritual. And secondly, you see, they are beginning to consider posterity. They are beginning to consider posterity. Is this what our children will consume? We don't feed our children. We should begin to consider the next generation. We should begin to consider the next generation, because they are aware that what this system is producing is darkness. Is darkness, is evil. You see why I kept reminding believers, I kept telling us why we shouldn't give our soul to this thing. And the third part, which is my point of emphasis, he said there are dangerous people sponsoring financially, sponsoring evil and darkness. And now they are pushing narrative to you Christians that don't pay your tithes, don't pay your offering. You will see this Daddy Freeze coming to tell you why you shouldn't pay your tithe. Whereas there are people sponsoring evil. There are people making sure that immorality sweeps through the nation. There are people who you don't even know of. I pay my tithe, I pay my offering. Pastor, I pray to God. Anything that pastor wants to use my money for, it is his business. It is between him and God. So when you see building projects, advance the kingdom with your finance, advance the kingdom with your resources. You know, I am not a pastor, I don't own the church, so I can boldly come outside to talk like this. There are people sponsoring darkness. There are people making sure that darkness advance. Resource-wise. This will not be a joke, resource-wise. Let's push the kingdom too with our resources. Push the kingdom with our resources. God, our eyes will open.